At 1 a.m., he's worried about his setup, his canvas, his pen, his sketches, and where he want to do going to doodle tomorrow. He's checking everything. So, and today also he introduced like this, and the same way which I quote the Earl Nightingale's quote that 12 to 15 hours I'm doing something, and remaining time I'm thinking about that. So, and after that, Rohit is ex Microsoftian, and he's a computer engineer, and many more things to come that Rohit will only tell. So, over to Rohit.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. Yeah, I remember that night when we got introduced accidentally, and yeah, I remember we were supposed to do the setup by evening, but it was raining pretty hard for last 2 days. So the canvases arrived pretty late in the night, and uh, I just want to make sure that everything uh, is ready, before it starts tomorrow. So we ended up like doing the setup by 2:30 in the night, and I was just so glad that we were able to have everything in place. So the only thing that I have to worried about when I'm uh, standing on the stage is that the content that I'm going to hear, and not about everything else. So it's like making sure you have your focus at that point and no distraction. So I was just trying to minimize my distractions at that point of time. And yeah, I think that's how I actually do every event. I just make sure that I only focus on one thing, which is doodling, and everything else is taken care of before that. So that's the incident. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen just very quickly, guys, to probably show you guys what I do. I know I have like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna very quickly tell you guys what I do, and tell you like a happy story about my life, and then tell you the challenges behind those uh, probably stories and moments. All right, so this is me. If you can see my screen, okay,
Yeah.
that's me. Yeah, when I was in Microsoft, and this is also me. But this is few years back when I was. So I come from a small town in Haryana, in India, and during our childhood, there used to be a lot of power cuts in the summers when we had the summer holidays, and it used to be like a power cut from, let's say, from 1 to 5 in the evening. Uh, I have like roughly 4 to 5 days every 4 to 5 hours every day to just do anything, without the electricity. So I thought probably it'd be a nice idea to just imagine some games and start playing that into your reality. So I used to dress up as different people. Now, right now, I'm dressed as a policeman here and catching the thieves of my society or my mohalla, right? And they were normal people, like normal kids, but I used to imagine that they are the thieves or doing some shady stuff and just going and playing and constructing the rules there and just doing it. And I kept doing it for the rest of my life. I start dress like I keep dressing up at different people and different roles and start imagining all these stories in my mind. What happened with that is when I grew up, I had these things in my imagination which I wanted to put it out, right? So it started from games, but it started to come out in form of doodling, which you can see here. So I'm doing doodling for an event here in Mumbai, which is about a shopping festival in Mumbai. And then that's where I started telling that imagination to the people that this is what is going on in my mind. Um, Fast forward few years, I founded a project. It's called Doodle Project after leaving Microsoft, to let people be put them in touch with their imagination and their creativity. Because I think you don't need to be an artist to be creative. Like I never studied art. I studied design and I studied science in school. But one thing that always I keep following was creativity, like being creative in whatever situation that I can be, and that's the studio I started with that intention. So Doodle project happened, and then I started doing three different things with this. So one is making products that people can learn doodling with. So this is a doodle kit. It's a physical DIY kit which you can order online and learn doodling. at your home. Uh, I also started doing workshops, which is called Doodle with Sony, and basically is going to different places. Now we do it virtually to teach doodling and how to think in a with the mind of a doodler. I also do something known as visual harvesting, which I did at Life Flying Summit recently. So I go to conferences and seminars, and I listen to what the key messages the speaker is giving, and I try to make a visual story of that. Like right now, it's a story of imagining the preschool education in India, and there are panel discussions that are happening, and I try to make a visual story out of that. So again, putting my imagination out, but this time it's for everyone to see. It's for the government of India. I did last year, and probably just showing you like how doodling has different channels that I have sort of visualized myself into. Okay, so that's about the happy story, like the story of going upwards, right? I'll come and break it down on how it happened in my life. And that's more interesting because that's where I think the most learning happens, where you know how are you feeling before something you wanted to do, than how you did it. You know, it's the backstory that makes sense. So can you see my screen now, or you can see my presentation?
We can see the screen.
Okay, you see a white screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is I am in the center. Okay, and there are three things which I want to talk about today at different point of time, and these are basically three different circles that I'm making here, and these are not perfect circles like life. So this is circle 1, 2, 3. Okay, and these are the three fears that I actually had when I was doing what I was doing, and the fear number one that I always had was the fear of failure. Okay, it is the fear that was actually here, right in the core, in my heart, of the failure. Like, what will happen if I fail? And this happened actually throughout in my 20s when I was, uh, when I was actually in my college. So I passed out from my college as a designer from NIF, and after that I did my masters from IIT Bombay, and then I joined Microsoft. I had this fear in my mind that I always wanted to do something which is more creative, which is related to doodling. Like I said, I was actually doodling when I was a kid all my life. Uh, but the fear was, how can I leave a company which is like Microsoft, like a fat paying job, uh, comfort of life. And every year I used to tell myself that this year I'll just enjoy my life. And then from next year, I will start my hustle in doodling. And that kept going on for 4 years. So I stayed in Microsoft for 4 years. Every year I was thinking that I'm going to leave my job next year because there was so much fear of being failing that I actually didn't take that step. And one day I actually stumbled upon my old email ID, which I created in school, like all of us do, right? Like someone, like there's a girl in my school, she created her email ID as Gorgeous Priya, right? Because that's how she used to look at her. I created mine as Rohit Artist or something, Rohit Art1 at yahoo.com. That time it used to be Yahoo. And I stumbled upon that email ID, and I realized that I actually wanted to be an artist or something to do in art since my childhood. So why am I stopping myself now? And that was the point of realization that I actually, that's what I want to do ever since I was a kid, and now I've become an adult. And this is the time that I want to go and explore and do my art. So that was the first realization that happened to me. I quit Microsoft and I started Doodle Project. So this was in 2017. So yeah, 3 years back. So this was fear number one, uh, which is a fear of self. Like it's so deep that you can't explain it to people. You can only feel it. Okay. Then came fear number two, which is the fear of belonging. And it was a very interesting fear because it is the fear of your family, your friends, the society, Like, where would you belong if you leave where you are, right? Like, you belong to some place, you have a family, you have a social circle. I had a circle of designers that time. I had social circle of from my college, like, IITians who were doing IIT stuff, like earning money, doing a good job. Uh, when I decided to quit on the Microsoft and do my own thing, um, I didn't tell my family that I am quitting, because I knew that if I tell them, the fear will start to come again around me. And this is the fear of belonging, that they would not understand what I want to do. Being from this Indian middle class family, they'll be like, "Oh no, why don't you stay for more time? Give yourself more time." My mom probably, probably have a panic attack, because it's not easy to leave a job like that. So I didn't tell them that I've left the company, but I left my organization, and I keep talking to them every day. I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm in the office. I'm going to office. I came back from office." For 6 months after leaving the job, I stayed back in Hyderabad. That's where my office was. Uh, and after 6 months, I told them that I have left my job 6 months back, but don't worry, I'm doing fine. And I'm able to survive and do whatever I wanted to do as my previous job, thing. And they got this shock, but they were also fine that I was okay, that I didn't dive directly into it, but probably I've landed and I'm safe. And that was the fear of belonging. That, I probably, how do you tell your parents that you do something, and how will you get the support? So that's how I managed that. My friends were pretty supportive, so that was not a problem for me. And being from a design background, becoming an artist was relatively easier than becoming, let's say, someone who's a CA and who is becoming an artist. So I already had some sense that I can switch from one area to another, to the second social circle of being an entrepreneur and starting my own thing and being creative. So this happened. I started my organization. Then came fear number three, which is about the self labels that we have. Now, growing up, being the youngest kid in my family, we are four kids. I'm the youngest in the family. I always came across someone who's shy and introvert. So I wouldn't talk much, and I wouldn't do like wouldn't want the limelight. I would probably be somewhere sitting in the corner just doing some doodling. That was my thing. Uh, when I started my work, and when I started doing visual harvesting, where I have to go on the stage and doodle in front of everyone, which was more like a performance, uh, I thought probably I won't be able to do it because I am shy and I'm introvert. Uh, but then I just questioned myself again at that point. Is it me putting self-label on myself, that I am this and I sort of hindering my own growth, or just give it a shot and see if you like it, or maybe you can do it. And I did one project, second project, third project, and then I realized that this is something that I really enjoy doing. Now I look forward to going up there and doodle, and now actually take workshops in on doodling, so which is about talking about doodling and encouraging other people to be more expressive in their life. So coming from being a shy kid to telling other people how to be more expressive, I think it's just shedding those labels that you put on yourself, like sticky notes, which you keep taking away and telling yourself there is something new that is coming and discovering in yourself. Uh, Same thing with calling yourself as an artist. In India, the artist personality is Jhola Chap, right? कि kurta pehna hua hai, jhola leke, you're going somewhere, you're like, you don't know, you're like mad, you're not rich and stuff like that. And I want to shy away from that image of artist. So I never called myself an artist for longest of time, until I realized that you can change that image of the artist in your mind if you just redefine it for yourself. So I started calling myself as a professional doodler, as an artist, as a doodler, as a doodle artist, and I used to do these projects for corporate. So I work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, uh, where I actually go in a suit and then I doodle for them. So that's where I was able to like change that image in my mind, that I still wear a suit, but I do creative stuff. Or I'm a doodler who's basically understand the business, and then I can come with a creative solution or a creative representation. So these are three things and three fears which I had in my mind, which I was able to tackle, and probably that helped me where I have able to reach right now. And what happened with that is, I'll just show you a very quick thing. Uh, okay, 1 second. If we can open it here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see the browser.
Okay, sure. So then what happened is I finally defined my work as Rohit Soni, which is now this is my website, and this is where the kind of stuff that I do has been mentioned. Finally, now this I made this live last month thanks to the quarantine time we had, and I call it as visual harvesting, and this is the kind of work I do now. So this is like I did for election rallies. Now I've done it for Satya Nadella when he came to give his speeches. I was able to do it for Shashi Tharoor when he was speaking, and then doing it for organizations like TEDx, Adobe, and stuff like that. So this is a moment of realization where I was just questioning myself as, I am not an artist, but someone else, and then saying that, okay, I'm an artist of a different kind. So I remember reading a book called You Can Win when I was a kid. It's like Shiv Khera. It says that people who win in life are actually, they don't do different things. They actually do things differently. So I wanted to be a creative person, but a different kind of creative person, and that's where I think I was able to reach somehow. So that's my story, and the fears I had, and the journey that I was sort of able to bank upon. So this is my story. Okay, I hope I was able to do that in 15 minutes. Okay.
Yes, that's perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very interesting way that you put forward your story by, in fact, doing what you like, doodling and doodling us through your life story. That was such an engaging way that I just got hooked, and I was trying to remember, am I passionate about doodling? And I was trying to remember, when did I doodle? So I could remember of just a brief phase in my life when I doodle, and that was when I was in engineering, and I was so bored in the class that I was just doodling my time away in the college. On that note, I would like to invite Vala to take us through with the reflection session. The stage is yours.
What a speech. What a talk, Rohit. That was great. I just love this place because it shows us the human capacity and the different and diverse mindsets that we all have. I mean, we all love what we do, but what we do is completely different from one another. And it's crazy how that is, how life is, and how we are. And now I just have a question before we start the reflections. What type of pens or markers you use? Because I want to doodle, but I think I don't know how to like. So that's the first question. The second one is, how do you get the images that you want to draw? Because you now like have a white blank canvas. How do you fill it in?
Okay. So interesting question. And the first question is, I think it's actually been asked so many times that actually I've created a PPT on that on tools and tips for doodling, and I'll just very quickly show you that. I would come to second question after that. All right. So just sharing my screen again very quickly, and let me know if you guys can see it. And where am I? Yeah. Cool. So this is just a few slides from my workshop, and that's where I actually talk about the pens. Okay, this is my setup. That's how it looks like. Okay, a blank sheet of paper, white sheet is enough. If you have these pens, it's okay. But I'll just show you the pens that I use. So this is a pen which I use usually, which is a marker pen. It's a CD marker pen. Why do we use this pen? Is because it is very flowy. It works on every surface. Some paper are like smooth, some are rough. So you don't want your lines to be, abrupt lines, right? So you want them to be really smooth, like how a printer prints on a sheet. That's how I want our lines to be. They has to be flowy like this. They actually start and then keeps flowing. So that's why we use this pen. I use this pen. It's a CD marker that you get. You can get it in any standard stationery or in office as well. Second is Sharpie. If you want to go into little interesting brand, you have a Sharpie brand. It's a really good pen. Front and back, you have two nibs, the thick and thin. So it's interesting to just flip around and use it. If you want to be Atmanirbhar in India, then we have a luxury brand, our own. It is a good brand as well. It's a thick marker, so it really helps you fill in the spaces really fast. And something like this. So if you see this one, this I was just doing before my session today. Now this is done with this pen, which is a thick pen, while the lines are done with thin pen. So that's how you can easily and fastly do your doodles as well. So luxury is a good brand if you want to go for Indian brands. But let's say if you have none of this, use a gel pen. A gel pen is fine. A normal ballpoint pen is fine. Any color pen is fine. Because what you're doing, you are not like making a fine art drawing. You're just expressing yourself. It's like your handwriting. Just start writing it. Once you get the flow, your doodles will start to appear more natural and authentic. So that's about the tips. Yeah. Okay. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, definitely. I got this one a month ago, but it was so it's 0.3. Should I get something? Look at this. This is
Yes,
so small.
it's good for doing the detailing part of it. Maybe you can just combine little thicker pens, try out the CD marker pens, combine it with this one. You probably have a very interesting outcome.
All right. So before you get to the next question, I'll let other people start their reflections first, and then maybe we can jump into it
Sure.
later. So let's see, Trisha.
Thanks, Walla. Thank you so much, Rohit. Wow. I'm just blown away by your ability to turn your passion into purpose. I think that's amazing. So incredible. And I was blown away by your self-actualization to understand what all your fears were and to overcome them. So, massive kudos to you for being able to do that. So I was curious as to what your methodology was in order to overcome each of those fears.
Okay, now that's a really tough question because I'll say it's an agile methodology. If anyone from IT, they know what an agile project is, right? So agile methodology is like taking it up on every day. So you have a vision, and then every day you come and check where you are on that vision, and you are like on that path or you're not. So when you're on the path, you focus on your strengths, that I'm doing this, so something is working out. If you're not on that path, you check on your weaknesses. Like, what are my weaknesses that I'm not able to do this path or progress? And that's what I did. So I focused a lot on my strengths, which were, like I was not good at a lot of things, but I was good at few things. And I actually hold on to those things. And I think that's why that works for me pretty well. While also, things are not working out, focusing on how can I reduce my weaknesses, probably work on some of them, and probably, make progress every day, in an agile way, that, every day is a new day, but you have to keep like moving forward step by step. So that was my thing. So if I'm here right now, I'm a very movement person. So if I'm here right now, I'm here 100%. And that's what I do with all my work. I think that sort of worked with me so far.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Very, very inspirational.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trisha. And moving on to Aaron. I see you're now home. So how about you jump ahead?
Yeah, I'm home and at ease, and very glad to hear from Rohit. I'm very glad to hear a story like this from you, and it's just mind-boggling. And the in India, we generally face this kind of situation. The fears you have mentioned, we are just in that situation. We should do it or not do it. So you phenomenally, I just say you phenomenally address those fear and just actualize your potential. And just we always keep on saying, I have a potential, I have a potential. This potential remains the potential unless we realize that. But you realize that, and you just in this nutshell, you have told the formula for that. You have to hear, because you are the person, you are the director, you are the driver of your life. So you should listen to yourself, because there is nobody else in your shoes. So if you listen to others, you won't be able to actualize it. So kudos to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. And what he said was something that Rohit said was also very, it stuck into my head. It was, I am an artist of a different kind. That was such a beautiful quote that I think we're all different in our own way. And now I see a new face, Krishna.
Hi, hi. Rohit, that was amazing to listen to, especially because keeping with the format of this discussion, something that I can relate to really deeply is sort of charting your own path, which didn't exist before. I mean, you couldn't look at this guy and go like, oh, you know what, this is how you do doodling as a profession. You sort of had to manifest your idea into existence, and even though you spoke about your fears, I mean, what really landed for me was that understanding that when you set out to do it on your own, you're also sort of inventing your own benchmarks. You're sort of also inventing your own process, and there, like, the fear of failure can be so overpowering. So it was amazing to hear you speak, and to follow your journey, and it's amazing to see uh, how far you've come, and I take away inspiration in that.
Great, Krishna.
Thank you so much.
And actually, now that I look at Rohit's background, the other day, I'm actually struggling these days to find a good background for my Zoom meetings and my Zoom classes because I'm starting online work and stuff. So I'm now considering having like a big doodled chart, but I don't know how to doodle. So maybe I'll have you send me something. I don't know. Kritika, jump ahead.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Rohit, initially when I saw you doodling, that was again in the speaking summit, I was amazed by the work that you were doing, and you were so focused in the exact moment. And I was just feeling, I was just thinking that, how come you have reached this space, you have made this space for yourself, because I had never heard, never seen something of this sort happening anywhere. Now, after listening to you, now I get it, how from where you're coming and how you have created such a beautiful world for yourself and for other people. And it's something very unique, that portraying things visually for people, the thing that you have already told and you were doing. I was really amazed, and again I am still very amazed by the work. And then one thing that I really resonated with you was when you said that you labeling yourself, that you already have had a nature and you are working in a similar kind of process, and how to overcome that. It just reminded me of my days when I started off my career, and I was again an introvert like you, back somewhere, not very visible to the people, and very very fearful of the stage, very fearful of coming up and sharing my opinions. And it was just one day, I don't know what was I thinking. I was not even thinking. My head was somewhere else, and I just took one opportunity. It was a career counseling opportunity, and I had to give a career talk to students, and it was very impromptu. And I just took it, and when I started speaking, I spoke like anything, and I spoke like for like half an hour. And it was just, I mean, I was feeling so free, and it had never happened. I was so fearful of stage earlier, and that was when it struck me that this is what I want to do, and that is how I am now leading my career. So that was something, I connected
Wow.
on your speech. An incredible story. I mean, I really look upon to, and in fact, I used to doodle. I mean, initially in my college days, in my school days, I used to doodle a lot. But then with time, with things happening, I just that's something left in in the back. So I still think of doing it at times painting something. So it's like once in once in 2-3 months I do that, but then it's very less now. So I want to get back to it. Let's see. I'll do that. So thanks a lot for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Kritika. And I actually saw someone, but now I can't see their name anymore. Let's see Abhishek.
Thank you, Wala. Hi, Rohit. Thanks for sharing your story. It was such a wonderful insight into your life to see that something like a non-traditional guy like you, like I'm as a kind of IT engineer, follow the same traditional path, and understanding that you also implemented agile methodology in your life, which we do in our project. But the way you're implementing it's really great in the sense that you are kind of sorting your life out. It's very difficult to go to a career path which is non-traditional. You don't know what challenges you will have. You don't know how the life will be. But with all that, you still follow the passion and to do it. We keep, as Arun was saying, that we keep hearing about it, but it never have the courage to do it. So you are the real life example that you can really do it and really be successful about it. So I would like to know that you must have a lot of issues and problems, but and I can see some children in my family having those kind of passion, but they are like they have one passion one day, another passion another day. So we are not very sure how what to do about it. So how do you manage to make sure that this is it? This is the thing you wanted. Isn't like if you are like have 2-3 talents and you are not very
Hmm.
sure and you keep wasting your time. So did it happen to you in your childhood, or like how when you are very sure about yourself that okay this is something which I wanted to do.
Wow.
So
That's a wonderful question. Yeah. So I think that's an amazing question. So I usually get this question reversed. So sometimes like people say that, and I actually ask them when adults, they're doing something, but they're not content with their life, right? Like they're not sure, they're not happy, but with what they're doing. I ask them to visualize uh, what they wanted to be when they were 16, right? Because 16 is the age when you haven't seen the world, so you don't know the fears of the world, and you have spent enough time with yourself, so you know that you are good in something. And because you are really young, you have a vision for yourself as well. You see yourself, maybe you got influenced by something like that. Um, so that is what I ask them to do for themselves, like visualize how you were when you were 16-year-old and now do something. The another thing which I learned in IIT was, which actually changed my life, was an exam that you have to give to pass out from the college, which is a 10 marks exam, which is actually a big exam for your credits, is you have to write an essay. Okay.
mhm.
You have to write an essay, and the title of the essay is, what will I do if I have unlimited amount of money and 10 years in my life? Okay. So you have 10 years in your hand and you have unlimited amount of money. So money is not a problem, and you have 10 years. What do you see yourself doing? You have to write an essay for 1,000 words. So you have to go in the details of it. You have to like identify where you are, what you're doing. And I remember what I wrote in that essay was that I'm having a big studio in like a factory. You know, if you have seen, there is an artist called uh, an American artist. He actually had a studio setup called the Factory because he used to produce so much work that it's actually a manufacturing in a factory. He used to call it like that. So that's what my vision was, that I'll probably have a really big studio and I have like big tables and there are people who are doing different things and they're collaborating. So let's say I'm doodling, there is a mathematician doing something, there's a music guy who's doing something, and we are just creating something together, you know, like that. That was my vision. And as I start writing more and more, it just got more and more clear in my mind. If not, I would have been an artist, I would have been a footballer because I really like playing football. But then I realized that it is something that I enjoy doing, but I'm not so passionate about. Or let's say probably being a fitness guy, you know, probably a coach because I just tell people how to be in fitness. But then I enjoy it for myself. I might not enjoy, you know, doing it all my life. So as I started writing more and more, those things got sideways, and there was a clear image in my mind, which is this, like being an artist and of a different kind of an artist, like that. So ask those young children to write an essay on what they want to do if they have 10 years in their hand and money is not an issue. Like, you know, forget about money. Just think about time and what they want to be. Maybe they will zero on something that is really, really passionate and close to their heart.
That's such an excellent idea. Thank you for sharing. I will definitely recommend that. But yeah,
Thank you
great
so much.
story. Thank you.
Wow. That is a great question and a very practical answer. I already thought about what I wanted to do when I was 16, and boom, it is actually what I want to do now. It's completely different from what I graduated from what I studied, but it's actually what I'm. Wow, that is crazy. Okay, let's not get there. Suman, you have a guest over and she is very hesitant about being on camera. I can see that. Unmute.
Okay. Bolo.
Hi.
Hi everyone. Sure.
Your name?
Bolo, bolo. Hi, this is me, Suman. And Rohit, your story is so amazing. When you started your story, I realized that one thing came in my mind is Arjun and Arjun ki aankh. Means your goal is focused. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So means saying you, listening to you is focused on one thing. Means when you are doodling, you are totally focused on that. And right now, I have my daughter with me, and she is also a doodler. So,
Nice. Nice. Yeah, show me. It makes me happy when I see doodles. Wow, that's amazing.
Hey, that's beautiful.
Wow. I love the way you have done coloring in your doodle. That's one of the difficult things. So it's amazing.
That is great.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, you guys, I want to be a doodler
Wow.
so much.
So cool. Do you put it anywhere online, like Instagram or anywhere? You should, maybe just for yourself. Just put it up on Instagram and just go and see it, and you will feel like doing it more and more. So just make a portal where you just go and put your work. That's it, for yourself. And yeah, do that. It's an amazing work already. So we love to see it online somewhere. Just make an account on Instagram, put it up. Oh, you're muted right now, no?
what was the question?
I wanted to ask you that I am doing fashion designing, and I'm also interested in doodling, but I don't know how to
Start
how to start my
career as
career
a
in
career.
doodling.
Sure. Where are you studying right now? In NIFT?
Yep,
Which NIFT? Oh, NIFT Gandhi. I'm from NIFT Hyderabad. So yeah. So studied in same college. Interesting. Yeah, I think NIFT is an amazing college to just let your creativity flow. Just keep working on your NIFT degree side mein just keep working on your doodling as well. Do it every day. Develop a style. Like there has to be an authentic style that you feel like, right? Like do enough work that you find your style. That this is something that Kritika, right? Your name is Kritika, right? No?
Divya.
Divya, sorry, yeah. So Divya, so like when I see it, I know that it is from Divya, right? So there has to be Divya's doodling, and once you find that style, maybe just start. You can do it on anything. You can make it. You can do it on products. You can start talking about it. You can make some big artworks about doodle. Just see what is your authentic style of doodling, and then apply it anywhere. So that's what I advise. You're still in college, so you have a lot of time. Take it easy. Keep doodling, and date comes. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Divya.
Wow, great. Career advices from the master. Monica, I hope you heard the speech. And did you fix your?
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Hello, Rohit. I'm also a Niftian from
nice.
NIFT Kolkata. And my husband is just sitting in front of me. He is also from NIFT Kolkata. So, first of all, and Divya is my niece.
Okay.
Yeah. She is in second year. She is a very good doodle. And let's see how this works. I'm sure she gets inspired from you, because I'm sensing that definitely she saw your background. Hats off to the background. It's amazing. Loved it. And I can't stress enough that you mentioned about dressing sense, that it's important to present yourself in a certain way, and you don't have to put only a jhola and be a systemized artist, right? And I also call myself an artist. I'm more than by profession I'm a fashion designer, but I'm uh, what should I say, I'm good in dancing. I should not blabber this more, but yes, I'm good in dancing. I'm good in storytelling, and I make stories with the characters on Instagram, but it's a very close thing. Some of the time when I'm quite stressed enough, then the stories come along with it. So I'm relating this similar stuff with you, that definitely we get focused when we are working on a certain things, right? And even I see my husband working relentlessly and consciously. Yeah, I got an incident in my mind. When I saw my husband for the first time, he was wearing a big doodle bulb. He painted himself. And I was like, oh man, he is something. I don't know he remembers it or not.
Nice.
And he painted his jeans also, and
Wow.
even chopped his t-shirt. I was like, okay, he got a quirky
Nice.
idea. And
Yeah.
that's how we connected.
Nice. So that's a good advice for all the bachelors out there. You know what to do
Yeah.
now.
Right. And I love the way you mentioned your story about the fear of self. That I also took, I think, around 2 years to start my business. It was definitely not easy. Generally, we see how people are going to perceive us, that no, you can't do this. It's tough. It's going to be tough. And definitely, there are voices in our heads, so it's tough. Okay, and one more thing I want to ask, can you elaborate a little bit of your 6 months journey when you not told about your parents, how you managed it? I really wanted to know about those failure times, because I'm sure that's going to be more encouraging to learn more
Yeah,
about.
sure. So, all right. So, I felt a lot during my work that I should quit, right?
Right.
Because I always wanted to quit and do my thing,
Right.
but it was a question of when and not how, because I
Right.
always wanted to do it. Um, but I also made sure that I don't take an emotional decision, right? Like sometimes we get so emotional that we
Right.
just leave, and that we think, oh, that's now I'll see what to do, like that. So I didn't do it like that. I actually saved enough money at that time that even if I, let's say, if it fails, at least I have probably have a cushion to fall back on, because I was trying to do it myself. So I have to like take care of myself financially that way. So I try to like save at least for a few sort of time period that, if I'm not able to make it. Also, I didn't start off from scratch, to be honest. When I was in Microsoft, I started doing some projects to see if
So
what
it
I'm
was
doing
not
is.
related to doodling or anything.
No, so I used to do doodle projects in when I was in Microsoft, but
Wow.
outside Microsoft. So I used to do it for other companies whenever I used to get opportunity. So I was testing it out that if I do something like this, will there anyone be interested in this? Will they be interested in paying for something like this? Because now my journey is from, like someone mentioned, from passion to purpose, right? Like this
Right.
is the purpose. So you have
Right.
to also sustain yourself and
Right.
without compromising on your quality of life.
Right.
So I made sure that I actually checklist those things that I have sort of backup ready. I have certain projects which were ready and stuff like that, and then I quit. So I sort of able to have that transition period pretty smoothly, at least.
Right.
Then there was this excitement of running too much. Like for example, let's say if someone who is sitting on a chair for 3 years and
Right.
you like ask them to run in open field suddenly, like you're like, oh, now you can go and run. So that
Right.
was clear for me. I was so excited that I was actually running in the field, like just playing around like that. Which
Right.
what I realized was that I actually had the feeling of burning out for the first time in my
Oh.
life, that I actually feel burned out because I've done so much work.
Right.
And then I started managing my time better, like like taking breaks, making sure I have people who I can delegate my work to, form the team, and those are the
Right.
things that I learned on the go, like that. So that's why I actually call myself an entrepreneur now as well, because those are the traits of the business that you learn once you come on your own, because you have to work it out somehow. So yeah.
Right, right. I'm seeing your background and I'm recalling the diaries of Wim Pickett and Alicia D'Souza.
Yeah.
And even I met her in Bangalore. She's such
Nice.
a humble and beautiful
Yes.
person. And
Yeah.
I think doodle artists are quite welcoming. And I'm getting this similar vibe from you. It's beautiful to hear your story.
Yeah. Alicia is too cute, so I can't see
Yeah.
myself there.
She was signing each and every autograph. I told her, why don't you make a stamp? She was like, I like it's fun to do that. And she was hugging each and every person. So thank you. Thanks a lot. It's wonderful to hear your story.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Monica. And we have 3 minutes to go. So, Vijay, if you can wrap your reflections in a minute.
Yeah, thank you, Vala. Rohit, fantastic story. Thanks for introducing us to this Google concept. I'm absolutely new to this. I love the way you presented your story, actually. You justified your word that when I'm not doodling, I'm thinking about doodling and I'm always in doodling only. So the way you presented, okay, absolutely justified. Fantastically, a lot of people did not achieve what they want to become in life. Actually, you had in subconscious mind what you want to do in life. Always wanted to do. You had a slight push from your mail ID, and you left your job, Microsoft job. Okay, that requires guts, and you did it. Finally, you achieved what you want to be in life, and I can see your dedication, your passion, and you are actually self-satisfied. I think. What do you do? And I think we are running short of time, but I just wanted to ask one question. Like when you doodle, actually, I have little less knowledge about this. So actually, it's what you are painting, your painting skills, or what thoughts you are putting, or is a combination of both?
Yeah. So I always tell this to people in my workshop as well. Doodling happens in your mind,
okay.
Right? Like you don't doodle with your hands. You are basically doodling in your mind. So it's just a connector. Like anyone can actually, practice and become better with drawing. But if you don't, train your mind to think in a very doodly way, it will be difficult to do it. So it's like observing the things. Reading is really good because it helps you boost your imagination, right? Like humans are 94% visual. So when you start let's say, collecting a lot of images in your mind, it becomes easier for you to express it. So you become very conscious that you have to use your image bank and which image you want to use to tell a story. And that's how you become a better doodler. So it actually happens in your mind. Hand is just a source. This is the water tank. This is the tap. You open the tap, it will come. But this has to be filled with the creative water, right, for the juices to flow.
Wow.
So that's what I.
Amazing, amazing, Rohit. How you present you give your answers, how you present your story, absolutely fantastic the way you present it. The career advising and everything, fantastic. Hats off to you. Thanks for the lovely story.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Amazing. And Rakesh, you have 1 minute as well. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Vala, and thank you, Rohit, for sharing the stories. Actually, doodling, he's very good in doodling. We can see that, and I have seen in the event also. But he's a great storyteller also. The way he narrated his story with the words, and he's telling he's introvert and all that, I did not believe that. So, what means that fascinated me is that when he was means when you are about to leave that Microsoft, you planned the team and you planned the business. Means we have to segregate hobby and business separately. So you planned that beforehand, and then hobby is separate and business is separate, and you planned both. So that thing connected to me very well. And one thing that I liked is the how you show your photos of your police dressing in a policeman, and what to do at the age of 16. So I am also remembering those of the things. I want to be a cricketer, and I want to be a filmmaker, and I definitely will make films sometime in future. Means all these, and that some, I don't know, some I might have made email ID also.
Nice,
so,
nice. So
so
yeah.
so many things have popped up from this 15 minutes talk. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. And you're already an amazing storyteller, Rakesh. So all of us know that. We have seen your books, and we know how you collect stories and portray stories, and come out with a connection between the thing, which is what makes a storyteller. So all the best. We wait to see your movies, like buying your tickets at the box office and going and seeing your movies.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, thank you.
And great, thank you, Rakesh. Now, Simar, you have 1 minute, and after you finish, move it how do I say that? Give the virtual microphone to Mudit.
Yeah, thank you, Vala. Thank you for giving me some time. Rohit, first of all, thank you for sharing your beautiful story. I am in awe of your talent and the passion that you have. And when Vala asked you the question about markers and pens that you used, I mean, your passion is manifests itself in the fact that you actually started telling us everything in detail about the pens that you use, and the kind of material that the kind of pens that you actually use in quite detail. I think since I play tennis very religiously, if somebody were to ask me if what kind of rackets that you use, I would also start explaining everything in detail. The graphite, and the kind of weight that the racket has and everything. And I think it's all about the passion that you have inside you. But about doodling, I did not know about this word at all. I use Pinterest, and I see a lot of pictures with a lot of information, and now I know the fact that it's called doodling, and it's very prominent on this app called Pinterest. And the other thing is about risk taking, that this circle of fear that you overcame, whether it was society or belongingness or other things. I think more than that, it's the passion that you have inside you that irks you from inside each day while you're working in the wrong job, or when you know that you're at the wrong place. I think that is something that, although it took you 4 years to get to what you really wanted to, but I think it's the passion and the fire that you have inside you that keeps pushing you towards your goals. So I mean, hats off to you, what you've achieved, and I hope and wish you good luck for your future ventures as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, even I didn't know that, about doodling. Actually, doodling is relatively new. When I was doing it, I didn't know you call it doodling. I was just doing it, and then suddenly I came across something. I'm like, oh, it looks like something which I do. Then I did some research. I find out, oh, it's called doodling. So it was a nice moment of truth that, oh, something like this is called doodling. And then yeah, it's like you're playing a game and you don't know you're playing tennis. It was like that. I'm like, oh, tennis exists.
It's so effortless. But the
So it
other
was
thing,
amazing.
I mean, in practical terms, doodling can be a lot, can provide a lot of information, and you can sum it up
Yeah.
so beautifully for people who don't like to get through the detail of something, or if it's monotonous or tedious for them to read the entire scripture, then I think doodling can make it easier and informative for people as well. So on
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
it's a really useful thing.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So this is like the outcome of the doodling. In fact, the process of doodling is amazing. I take workshops on doodling for mindfulness, right? So the process itself is very mindful. That's another vertical they're talking about where you find yourself while doodling. Forget the outcome, just the process is like that. So it's an amazing thing. It makes me happy to see people doodling. So please, if all of you like want to doodle something, please doodle and share with me. I love to see, even if you just doodle one single icon or emoji that comes to your mind after this session, please do it. Tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is Creative Sony. Love to see a little doodle from all of you after this session, definitely.
Thank you. That was quite encouraging. Like we heard about your life story, and towards the end, we are now encouraged to doodle as well. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to do that and tag you for your reviews. And if not all, then of course, Divya sitting down and listening to you, probably I see a future doodler in her. She would definitely do that.
I look forward.
And it is a time when we switch on our cameras, put our beautiful smiles, and get ready for the photograph. So, voila, Krishna, Trisha, uh, this is the time. And we're waiting for you, voila, to switch on your camera. I hope you're not too tired after moderating the session, or you already started like buying the pens online. All right. So on the count of three, 1, 2, and 3. Let me see if I've got it right. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Rohit, for sharing your story. And when you were telling your story, and of course, throughout the reflections as well, it reminded me of something that an inventor, probably of the century, said about following your passion. And it was none other than Steve Jobs. And he had something similar to share based on his life experience. And here it is for all of us to reflect. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Do ponder upon what is your passion. Just as Rohit did, figure out that doodling was his. And then remember, everything else is secondary. So until next Saturday, goodbye and take care.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye. Take
Amazing
care.
session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys.